3, 2, 1.
And my foot was just like dangling.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Yeah! Hey, lady!
You don't have OCD.
You forgot your spaghetti!
You have ODCD. Okay, thank you. I didn't know my psychiatrist was on here. I'm actually starving. That should be my middle name. Amberlynn Hungry Reed. I don't know. I just feel so disconnected. She was like, "You're healthy, but you are obese." Hello? Is anyone home? I already did my live stream and everything, and usually by my Tuesday live stream, I've already had this filmed, edited, and scheduled to go up for the next day. But I'm not feeling the greatest, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why in this video, so let's just get straight to it. So last week, my goal was to follow a meal plan for 5 days out of 7, and I did not do that. I wanted to have like a huge veggie plate every single day for lunch. I did not succeed in all 5 days. So my goals for the next week are literally just to win over this like defeat that I feel inside of me. I also want to start drinking 3 water bottles a day instead of just 2. So I was doing pretty decent. I was staying below the 3,400 calories that Noom wants me to eat. Definitely eating in moderation. So I was allowing myself to have like the unhealthy things. There was one day where I overate and I chose like the most horrific foods that day. We are not perfect over here. Like if I woke up one day and I came on here and I was like, you guys, I've been perfect for a full year, it'd be bullshit because it's not possible. A few days ago, I'm telling you, it was storming really bad. It was flooding. There was flood warnings. I was out with my mom and I didn't realize when I got home that the flood was going to be near me. So to get into my apartment, which was literally the only way to get into my apartment, I had to step and walk in water that literally like went up to the middle of my calf. I was pissed about it. I have lymphedema and lipedema. My skin and my body is just really sensitive to things. So I was soaking wet. My pants were soaking wet. My legs were soaking wet. Came home, I showered. I sadly woke up the next day with cellulitis. So there's 2 versions of cellulitis. There is version 1. I get all of like the physical leg symptoms. Red, painful, like you can tell there's like a massive infection. But then I also get the shivers and I get 103 temperature. I am puking profusely. TMI, I have diarrhea. I can't eat for days on end. Or there's B, the leg is red. The leg is painful. And I really just feel general malaise. That's where I'm at here. In both of these areas, A and B, I swell a lot, obviously. It's a really bad infection. So I got cellulitis from walking in the dirty water from the flood. And a part of me like knew that was gonna happen. That's why I immediately came home and showered. But when you have lipedema and lymphedema, your lymphatic system does not flow the same. Makes it to where it's harder to fight infections. No matter how much you bathe, no matter how much you clean yourself. It also causes poor circulation to your legs. But I stepped on the scale and I gained weight because I'm extremely swollen. Because when you see my weigh-in, when I show you the screenshot from Noom, you'll see that I was losing weight. And then when I got cellulitis, it's like all of that didn't even matter. I immediately gained in fluid retention from the swelling. And after I heal, I genuinely I want to switch things up a bit. I want to start feeling like motivated and inspired in a different way because I feel like I've just been in this weird lull, literally fighting an infection. I'm currently on antibiotics. Last week I was 517. This week I am 521.6. And it's like, this is such a pointless weigh-in because it's not real weight. I'm just going to keep taking my antibiotics. I'm going to try to be successful in my goals. I've had cellulitis 3 times. Question number 13. Have you ever taken medication to help you fall asleep faster? I actually have. It was NyQuil, totally lame. I've only done it a couple of times because I don't believe in medication for anything. I'm subscribed medication for different reasons and I never take it, mainly because I have kind of like a fear of medication because of how I grew up. So I never take medicine, so when I do take it, it's actually quite shocking. Even people around me know how I am with medication, so if they see me taking something, then they know like I seriously need it, because there's been times where I was literally in agony and in pain and I didn't take my medication. A good example, I was actually hospitalized. because I had cellulitis. If you guys don't know what that is, then you should definitely look it up. It was really bad. They prescribed me antibiotics. I know antibiotics, you know, aren't bad for you, but I have this fear of medicine. I wasn't taking it right. I mean, I was taking it enough, so it like led me to go to the hospital, and they had to put like IVs in me. It was just like this whole thing. I was just, you know, watching The Hills, and I finished my ice cream, and I want to say like 10 minutes later, I started getting like the horrible shivers. Like, I went in my bedroom. I got my blanket, which was a fluffy pink blanket, so it definitely warmed me up when I needed it to. That wasn't working. My first also thought was like, okay, I ate too much ice cream. Like, instead of just getting like a brain freeze, I'm getting a body freeze. So I put on 2 pairs of pants. That still wasn't working. I started just feeling kind of like not right. So sick. I didn't want to eat or nothing. I slept for 2 days. My brother woke me up and he was just like, sis, are you okay? I didn't eat at all. So when I woke up, my brother was there and he's like, what's going on? You've been sleeping? Like, are you hungry? I was like, no, I'm fine, but my leg really hurts. And he's like, oh, okay, well, let me look. And he's like, ooh, why is it so red? And I was like, I don't know. It's probably just because I've been sleeping and I've been laying on it weird. And he goes, no, I don't think so. That kind of looks like what our foster dad had. And I'm like, what? He went and got my foster grandma, which also lived with us. And she came and looked and she's like, ooh, we gotta tell so-and-so, which was my foster mom. I was like, okay, like, why? And she's like, this is no good. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, this is what your foster dad had. And she was just like, he was really sick. She didn't really tell me what it was. And I was just like, okay. And then I went back to sleep. The next day, my foster mom was like, okay, we're gonna go to the hospital. We need to get this figured out. It was worse. My leg was swollen and it was like this hard, reddish, purplish, just like my whole calf. Like, ugh. I couldn't walk. And I hadn't showered since I got sick. So I was like sickly stinky. And my foster mom's like, okay, we need to go to the doctor and you need to take a shower first. I could barely take a shower. I had to do the whole bath pit, if you guys know what I'm saying. So we went, they run tests, and they said, you have cellulitis. And I was like, what? They're like, do you have any scabs on your feet? Do you have any cuts on your leg? What could have caused this? I explained to them the only thing that I can remember happening, I stubbed my toe, my big toe, really hard on wood, like the day before I got really sick. And they're like, bingo. And I was like, huh? Anyone at any size could get cellulitis. But the fact that I was gaining weight really rapidly at that age and me stubbing my toe caused like a little chemical reaction to happen. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. Don't know. At this point, I don't care. But somehow me stubbing my toe caused this to happen. So they're like, we're going to put you on antibiotics and that's going to clear it all away. You'll be able to eat again. Because the doctor said like people die from cellulitis frequently. Got the medicine, went home. I finally decided to try to eat. So I just went in the refrigerator. I ate a piece of bologna. I didn't even care anymore. So I had to miss about a week of school. After about 5 days, we went back to the doctor because the outline they made on my leg, my cellulitis wasn't getting smaller, it was getting bigger. I was eating less and less and less. Like, I wasn't eating at all, but like when I got the antibiotics, like I said, I was trying to eat a little bit, but then I like stopped. And they said these antibiotics are not working. They said you need to go to the hospital. I started hysterically crying and I really don't know why. I think it's because the whole like people die from cellulitis. The doctor said that my temperature was 105. So I was rushed to the hospital and they put an IV in me and they said that the IV that I had, they were giving me a stronger, different type of antibiotic, but they didn't even want me to eat. Like, they weren't even focused on that in any shape, way, or form. They just wanted me to get better. After I was in the hospital for a bit, they finally released me to go home. They're like, you can't go to school. You have to rest for at least 2 weeks. You know, just keep eating, keep trying to get fluids in. Really, the antibiotic did make me feel worse, really worse. Every day I slowly got better and I started to eat more. I was still in a lot of pain. I couldn't go to school. I missed about a month and a half of school. My leg was so swollen and so bad that when it was healing, my skin just peeled off, like in big goops. It was disgusting. I actually ended up getting cellulitis one other time after that. Nowhere near as bad. I'm just grateful it only lasted a month and a half. My foster dad's brother actually was hospitalized for 5 months because of it. It's definitely something I worry about frequently. Whenever I'm scratched on the leg or whenever I stub my toe, I'm scared to get it again because I don't have insurance and I don't have the money for antibiotics. I don't have the money to just go to the hospital or go to a doctor. And you could be skinny, you can be big, it doesn't matter. The fact that I am bigger is actually a culprit as to why I got it. But I haven't had it since I was 17. So, knock on wood. The last 3 days, I've been having belly button, like navel, stomach pain, but it's not like inside my stomach. It's the outside. It hurts. So something is obviously not right. I was going to see my actual doctor, but I kind of can't because it's the weekend. And the ER yesterday said if I get any worse to go back to ER, but I'm not going back to that ER because they just seemed very nonchalant. So I'm going to go to a different one. I got seen pretty freaking quickly at the hospital, which was pretty nice. It was weird. You know, the nurse came in, looked at my belly button. Then almost immediately after the doctor did, he came back and he told me it might be an infection. Like nothing is like for sure. He's like, it might be an infection. What? I don't know. So he put me on 2 antibiotics. I am like so confused because then another woman comes back. She came back with papers about cellulitis and I was just like, okay, that's weird. And she explained, you know, he's just giving you this just in case this is what it is. And I'm just like, okay. Like I know from experience everything about cellulitis because I've had it twice. It was both times in high school. The second time I actually was hospitalized because I was like literally on the verge of death. It was one of the most scarier times of my life. And to me, this doesn't really feel like cellulitis because before I couldn't eat. I couldn't even think straight. I had a fever that was like 105. That's when I was hospitalized. I had the chills and all that. And like I was puking and I don't have any of that. I guess there are certain situations where you don't get all that with cellulitis, but the 2 times I have had it, that has been, you know, what happened. So I was out in the living room. I was just hanging out with Eric, Ricky, and Becky. At that point in time, I actually sat on a mattress in the floor. We would bring it out there whenever we were out there like hanging out. And I remember Ricky saying something like, oh my God, it's so cold out here. And I was like, no, it's not. I was like, it's kind of hot, to be honest. I remember that point pivotally because, so it was probably an hour later and I started getting really cold. And our hardwood floors get cold and my legs were on the hardwood floors because I was sitting on the end of the mattress. And I was like, Becky, can you get me a blanket? So she got me a blanket and it wasn't working. I was not only shivering on the outside, but I was shivering on the inside. I did a lot of research online and it said very, very, very matter-of-factly that if your temperature goes above 102.7, a good idea is to go to the ER. But I was like, no, because I feel like 102.7 is like pretty common when it comes to a fever. Eventually it got to 103.1. When you're as big as me, you need to be very, very careful with fevers. When I did go to the ER, the guy said, I'm very glad that you came here. He came back and he said there was a lot of bacteria in my blood. There was a lot of bacteria in my pee. But what scared me the most is he said there was a lot of white cells. Like my white cell count was super high. So he said, you have a horrible, like, he like made it seem kind of scary. But he said, I have a horrible bladder infection. So he prescribed me antibiotics. I went home, but then I woke up and went back to the ER. It was probably up most to 2 months now. Dana and Destiny were sleeping over and the mattress was in the living room because I was out there and I had to sit on it while we were hanging out. I know, it's pathetic. And we were all like up and cleaning and I walked past the mattress and I don't know how, but my baby toenail hooked on to the mattress and bent backwards, if you will. I started freaking out. I was like gushing blood everywhere. My actual pinky toe was like crooked. It was honestly super scary, but thankfully Destiny was like, I'll fix that for you. So my whole toenail came off. Hi, nice to meet you. And I did everything I could to keep it clean, Band-Aid, like I did everything. I did a lot of research. Like, this is like a very common thing because it happened when I was younger, but on my other foot, and it was a completely different toe, but the nail grew back so wonky. I was taking care of it. I was like, okay, everything's fine. The thing is, no matter how much you clean something, you could still get bacteria in it. It can cause infections, like no matter what. Even though I did everything I could. Flash forward about a month after that, which was where I'm getting to next. So I went to the ER, had a horrible bladder infection. Okay, simple enough. I woke up the next day. My whole bottom of my leg was super red, like hot. And I knew exactly what it was. I knew exactly what it was right off the bat. Cellulitis. Because I've had cellulitis before. I've had it twice. I was in high school both times. I was like, I have to go back because the shivering, the fever, it wasn't because of my bladder infection. That was a coincidence. It was because I had cellulitis and it was growing. And I didn't realize that at the time until the next morning when I woke up. So that scared me because last time I had cellulitis, like I said, was in high school and I had to get hospitalized for that. I'm bigger now. I'm older now. I'm more unhealthy now. So I couldn't mess around with that. So I ended up going back to the ER and I showed them and they said, yeah, you do have cellulitis. So it turns out that when my toenail got yanked off, somehow, I don't know how, because like I said, I took care of it and Becky eventually started helping me more. I got a bacteria in it. And the thing is, cellulitis does not only affect obese people. I know a lot of people think that, which means that you don't have the knowledge of people with cellulitis, like you don't know a lot about it. Yes, a lot of morbidly obese people do get cellulitis, but so do skinny people, like a lot of skinny people. And it is when bacteria goes into your skin. It is a skin infection that can go inside of your blood and become a blood infection. I was more so like mad at myself because I felt like I didn't take care of my toe well enough because that's where the bacteria like got into and that's how I got cellulitis. And that's usually just how it works because it can go like inside of the smallest, like if you had a paper cut, like you can get cellulitis from that. Even if you're 100 pounds, it doesn't even matter. I cannot walk for a full hour. My husband is 6'3" and 200 and has had cellulitis twice. Dang, Crystal, I'm sorry. Like, cellulitis can truly be scary and it's so painful. It wasn't as painful this time compared to when I was in high school. In high school, I couldn't even walk, but this time I was able to catch it quicker. I want to lose weight because I want to lessen my chance of infection, whether that be UTIs, because that could be the reason why I have a UTI. We don't know. Bladder infection, what have you. I hear a lot of things about bigger people getting like infections and wounds. I personally have never gone through that. Thank God, knock on wood, I don't want it to ever happen. Or like cellulitis, which I have had. So I just want to be able to lessen my chance of those things. I'm worried about my health. You can only be this big for so long until something tragic happens. The only time something has ever showed up in my labs is every time I have cellulitis, because obviously it's an infection. Usually I have a very high white cell count in my blood when I have cellulitis. And that's the only time ever I've gotten abnormal labs done, which I've been very grateful for my body. I have a very bad vitamin D deficiency. Okay. What does that even say? Oh, 520. So, Okay. Story time. I wasn't sure if I was going to share this, but I figured I might as well. No, maybe I shouldn't. Because it is personal, and I said I wasn't going to talk about, like, health stuff anymore. Now you got us riled up. It's really not that serious. Like, it's not that serious. Like, this has happened before. Like, 4 nights ago, I started shivering. I was puking. I felt like I wasn't conscious. Let's be real. Had a whole fever. It was bad. I was like, cool. So I got the vid. Like, I'm one of the ones with the vid. No, I didn't think that at all. Came out of nowhere. That's the part where I was just like, what in the world? Then I woke up the next day after finally being able to fall asleep, and my whole calf was like super red. Not even my calf, like my whole leg, like shin and calf. And I was like, oh, I know exactly what this is. So long story short, I got a very bad case of cellulitis. The sickness did only last 24 hours. And I know how I got the cellulitis. I have a little a cut moment on my leg. So I know exactly how I got it. It was just like really bad, but I'm on antibiotics. So I have a few days left of them, and my leg is so much better. So yeah, I just wanted to share that because it was like, it's so crazy that in between this live stream and oh wait, no, it was Thursday. Okay. Literally, it's so weird because I'm sitting here on live stream on Thursday. Little do I know, I have a whole ass infection inside of my body starting. Like, that's weird to think about sometimes. But yeah, got a little sick. So, it was just a scary moment. I know getting cellulitis can happen to anyone, but like bigger people can get it easier. So I get that, but it is low-key embarrassing. Cellulitis can be deadly, so glad you're okay. Yeah, me too. But I saw a doctor like instantly because I knew exactly what it was because I've been down this before. So I knew exactly what it was. I knew I just needed antibiotics and we'd be fine. Garlic bread, you're kind of like mean to me sometimes, but sorry I called y'all sociopaths. I had cellulitis with the 3 emojis. I have to admit, that's actually really funny. I'm not gonna lie, that might be tattooed on me. Sorry I called y'all sociopaths. I had cellulitis. Or no, could that be merch? So I've been a wee bit MIA. I apologize. You know, it all started with me spending Thanksgiving alone. So then that just put me in a really weird headspace. I didn't feel like uploading. And then you guys, I got sick. I had the shivers. I was like frozen to the bone and I had a fever. If I would have just waited a little bit longer, we would have noticed that I actually had cellulitis. In the last couple of months, I've gotten cellulitis twice, so that's very weird. I make sure to take care of my body, clean my body. So the fact that I'm getting these infections is very frustrating to me. When I immediately noticed that it was cellulitis, I made a doctor's appointment and I'm on antibiotics. Like, my leg was highlighter red. It was truly terrifying. And now it's just like slightly pink. So we're doing really good. I love taking an antibiotic. I feel like it's just going through my body, doing what it's supposed to be doing. Why do other people have to work on sick days, but you can take off? Why can't you treat YouTube, your job, as an actual job? YouTube isn't conventional at all. Getting cellulitis, I could not work. So I am treating it like a real job. Should I tell them that
If you want to.
this isn't a good angle, but I'm sick. As you guys know, I have excoriation disorder. I pick my skin. That's why I have all this happening. And sometimes it's worse than others. I've been suffering with like really bad anxiety lately. So I do have some areas on my leg that I do pick and I cannot control it. That's why it's called excoriation. It's so hard to say. Disorder, because you literally can't control it. So I'm pretty sure one of the areas on my leg, I'm sure the way you guys are imagining it is probably worse than what it really is because I'm just bad at explaining things. But long story short, I have cellulitis again. And a lot of people are like, why are you getting it so often? It's because of that. I do, you know, keep myself clean. I shower daily. That has nothing to do with it. You could be the cleanest person in the world and still get cellulitis, unfortunately. And it's easier for people to get it once they've already had it. So since, you know, first time I ever got it, I was 16. So since I've already had it now multiple times, plus, you know, I got lymphedema, and that's, you know, where I get my cellulitis is my lymphedema leg. My weight does play a big role, but skinny people do get cellulitis, so I need to make that known as well. So I do have a lot of things fighting against me, so that's why I've been getting it lately. But, you know, I did the whole, like, fever. I had a fever, like, shivers, the whole thing. But surprisingly, I didn't puke this time, so I'm, like, really glad about that. Yeah, I am sick, currently on antibiotics. Today's day 3 of me having cellulitis. I wasn't gonna share mainly because I'm embarrassed. It is what it is. It's the truth. And if you see me chilling in bed, that is why. And this is the 3rd day of just chilling in bed, and I absolutely hate it. It definitely reminds me of bedbound days. Like, the first day, it was great. It was like, ooh, I don't have to do anything. I noticed while walking, even a little bit before walking, like, my leg was hurting so bad. And I was like, yep, I know exactly what this is. And then slowly it got red. Okay. Oh, this is my leg, by the way. Oh. It's a massive leg. Okay. Like you guys know, I want to walk a mile comfortably within 100 days. And I think it's been about like 2 weeks. But sadly, I ended up getting cellulitis, which I still have. And usually you're supposed to be resting. But my cellulitis goes away really fast because every time I like feel a symptom of it coming, it's like, oh, I know exactly what's about to go down. So always catch it fast. So that means it goes away fast. So yeah, I've had it enough times to know like the ins and outs, what to expect. I'm okay to walk, but it's just sucks because there was like 5 days where I just was like in my bed and I was like, oh my God. It reminded me way too much about 2019 when I was like bedbound and stuff. Anyway, so I didn't get to practice my walking during those days. So I feel like it has slowed me down a little bit. No. Hey guys, so this is not entirely something I want to admit, but I have cellulitis again. I didn't want to share it. Like, this is just what I'm going through. I know a lot of people say it's like because of hygiene. It just doesn't work that way. Again, this is gonna be another TMI moment, but I do have athlete's feet. And that is like a major cause of cellulitis. Google it if you have to, talk to your doctors if you have to. I just know a lot of people like to say that it's because I'm a dirty person. No, yes, I am suffering with the cellulitis again. I had a fever, I had chills, my leg is just beet red, like highlighter red, nearly like blinds your eyes out. So I'm just back to taking antibiotics. But I am so like particular about antibiotics. I have to take them perfectly because I know that I get cellulitis really easily. I know how to like handle cellulitis rather well and the antibiotics and everything around it. From my experience, obviously everyone's different, that it always gets worse before it gets better. So when you see it highlighter red, because it's gonna be highlighter red, or at least mine gets highlighter red, it gets so red that it like hurts my eyes to even look at. Just know it's gonna be like that for like 2 days, but then the antibiotics are gonna start kicking in. You're gonna notice it getting smaller and better and not as red. Like overall complete healing probably takes little over 2 weeks. So the panda sweater, okay, this is so embarrassing, but you know, it's cool, it's fun, it's fresh. So the last time I got cellulitis, it was summertime, and I was so cold because when I have cellulitis, like I have a fever. I ended up puking, and I got puke on the panda sweater, and obviously we washed it. Hi, that's what you do. You wash things that get dirty. Yeah, I can't live that one down. So embarrassing. You wear your girlfriend's sweater and you get puke all over it. You only see that in rom-coms. I can say that I have not been sick since I've been with Feline. A lot of people keep saying, you're always sick. Like, keyboard warriors, no, I'm not. Because it's been over a year and I'm like, damn, I haven't been sick in a hot minute. I have had cellulitis. It was a few times the beginning of this year. Because when I saw the lipedema specialist, actually when she was giving me my lymphatic massage, she noticed I had like a little cut on my leg and she was like, oh my God, you know, it's really bad to have these because you can get cellulitis. And I was like, yeah, I've gotten it a few times this year. And she was like, yeah, that's the culprit. And she was like, you can be the cleanest person. And if you have lipedema and you get normal, like everyday bacteria that even you, the people watching this has, you can get cellulitis really easily. So I did have that a few times beginning of the year, but yeah, like when people say you're sick all the time, I'm like, ma'am, what are you talking about? Like, I am never sick. Ooh, let's knock on wood. No, I get cellulitis and I've always been very upfront with that. I get cellulitis on my lymphedema leg. That is something that I experience. I have never had a boil a day in my life. So this video is obviously about my weight because so many people are like, Amberlynn, your face is looking a little bit like a moon. Have you stepped on that scale? And I did. I stepped on it over a month ago and I was at my lowest weight. I was at 467. That was actually after I ended up getting cellulitis. I did not tell you guys that, but I did get cellulitis in my lymphedema leg, which does happen a few times a year, unfortunately. No matter how clean you are, it's really easy to get cellulitis in your lymphedema, especially like the first time I ever got it, I was 16. So I'm very prone to it now. And I'm telling you, when I get cellulitis, I get super sick. Like the shivers, I literally can't breathe. I have like 103 temperature. My heart's beating super fast. Like I have bad infection. I'm like puking, can't eat for days on end. Before cellulitis, I think I was a good like 475. So lost some weight. I always gain weight back like super quickly after I have cellulitis. We have 99.0. Oh no. I'm trying to figure out like, is this cellulitis or did I catch a cold, the flu, whatever the hell is going on right now? The only sicknesses I get is unfortunately cellulitis because I have lymphedema, and the first time I ever had cellulitis was when I was 16, so now it just stays doormat. It's very unfortunate.
Anywhere you go, give it on. Anywhere you say, anywhere.
I need people to know that like mental things it's scary. Like there are girls outside right now that are taking selfies in front of a rock wall. This is my life and I do what I want.